Not a lot. Just enough to remind me why I don't watch it. Oh, this is already funny. Just the headline. The list of moves and actions that are now banned from AEW or need to be approved by the company.
Maybe that's why Nash is pissed off, because he went for Brock and Austin and not try to duplicate him.
Well, it'd be easier to duplicate him. You only have to learn 5 moves.
Like you said, and we've all been saying, Tony Khan, you need a hierarchy, and he gets one, and then we make fun of it.
Because he's sitting back there talking about the Brock match, and finally we had a wrestling match. Finally we got 2 guys telling a story. They weren't outside in the ring the whole time. One of them
was he not watching the same match as we were?
Yeah, those games, man, I would say, like, for me, like, the best ones, I would say, are, like, the ones where they try to get a certain, like, time.
This is my entire IT team right here on screen, everybody. Welcome back to the Nation Network and another exciting episode, we hope, of WrestlChat. It's been a busy week, man. We're doing more of these than normal, but that's because a lot's been happening more than normal. So last night, I'm sure everybody is aware, was night 1 of the WWE draft. And yes, we know it's all predetermined and everything like all wrestling is. But at the same point in time, it's kind of letting us know where some stories may be going or not going, or potential matchups that we could hope to see, might see, things like that. And done right, it can be very entertaining. Overall, wasn't the best they've ever done. Wasn't the worst they ever done. I'd say it's somewhere in the middle. But I do see potential for some pretty cool things moving forward. And we still have Monday Night Raw to go to, and we still have NXT to go to. So there is more to happen. More drama awaits. All right. Well, without any further ado, you know me, I try to always make sure I'm not alone on here because it's a lonely job. It really is. So without further ado, I bring aboard my partner in crime, my sidekick, the one, the only J-Rocks. Say hello, Jay.
Hello, Jay.
All right. And with that, we're off and running. So your overall opinion of SmackDown with the draft?
Again, like you said, wasn't the best, but it wasn't the worst either. I figure we're going to see a little more of shake-up moves come Monday night because, of course, that's the flagship, and we've got 6 as opposed to 4. Yeah. That's what they say. I mean,
they haven't said it in a while.
No, they haven't.
It seems like SmackDown has moved into that spot a while now, and it doesn't look like that's going to change. I'm really glad that Cody ended up on SmackDown because I'm still not convinced I'm getting Netflix. Right. I don't have Netflix. I don't think I'm getting Netflix, so I would be more wanting to see Cody, and having the bloodline there as well makes everything I really care the most about will be there. I like Rhea and all that, but I'm not paying Netflix for it.
Right. Yeah. I do think we'll get some more surprise swaps on Monday though. Yeah. I did like them announcing that Roman withdrew from the draft, so I was happy about that. Yeah.
Which makes sense because Roman's done. I mean, he's never going to work a full schedule again.
Right.
He's essentially Brock Lesnar at this point, 2.0.
But of course, them having Paul make the delivery just made it that much better. So,
yeah, nobody does it quite like Paul. On Monday, are we anticipating the potential possibility even of a Brock Lesnar announcement?
I wasn't. I really wasn't thinking about him until you just now brought it up.
I only brought it up because I've heard other people suggesting it could happen. I don't see how it could happen. I don't see why it would happen for a number of reasons. Number one, he ain't wrestling no full-time schedule either. So why would you draft a guy who's going to wrestle 2 or 3 times a year? That makes no sense. And secondly, if you don't announce him at the draft, whenever he does come back, presuming he does, that's going to be a major explosionary event.
Yeah, and the thing with Brock is he was considered a free agent, able to go to whichever show he wanted. So if they do bring him back, I think they keep him under that heading. That way they can use him where they want to use him and where he'll have the most impact.
You think he's going to go to Impact? Is that what you said?
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah.
It could happen.
Let him and Jordan Grace get into it.
Well, let's run down the results from night one, shall we? SmackDown has secured the rights to Bianca Belair, Carmelo Hayes. That was a big one. Randy
I chose
Orton.
him too.
What's that?
I said I chose him during your draft for SmackDown. So
I did see some familiar drafting going on. Randy Orton went to SmackDown. Nia Jax, who gives a shit. LA Knight is staying in SmackDown. The Bloodline, surprise, staying in SmackDown. AJ Styles staying, and Andrade, who cares? That brings us to Monday Night Raw, who have acquired Jey Uso, Seth freaking Rollins, Braun Breaker, another big call-up right there. And they put him over in a big squash match, too, man. It was brutal.
Against Cedric, yeah. But I was really surprised that he got drafted over there because he was signed to SmackDown. So
is the operative word. That's why it's called a draft.
Yeah.
Liv Morgan is staying. Of course she's staying. She got to get her ass kicked by Rhea. Ricochet, Sheamus, Alpha Academy is staying in Raw. Of course, they're not going to be Alpha Academy much longer.
Right.
And a big surprise to a lot of people, Kiana James.
Yes. When they said her name, I was really surprised that but then again, I mean, you've got Tiffany Stratton on SmackDown, so you need another heel like that, and Kiana James fits that bill. So if she can do what Tiffany's done on SmackDown over on Raw, I'm 100% behind it. So
yeah, I just don't know that she can right yet. I mean, I'm not knocking her or anything, but I mean, Tiffany's an epiphany, man. That's a girl. There's not too many people ever in the history of wrestling that step in as quickly as she. I mean, she's in that Logan Paul category of people that have no business being that good this quick.
Well, exactly. She's literally 2 years into her career.
And you would not know that to look at her.
No, it's taken her 2 years to step into the doors at the Performance Center, and now she's in a main title feud triangle with fucking Bianca Belair and Naomi. So kudos to her.
Yep. We'll see, like I said, so far as Kiana, if she's able to handle that level or not. All I can say at this point in time, come Monday night, they better be drafting Fallon Henley, because that girl, man, I just don't get what's going on there. And it's not because I like her, because she's easy on the eyes and she got the country girl thing and all that. That's all part of the package. But at the end of the day, that girl can fucking put on a wrestling match. Just watch her. Watch how she moves. I mean, she's smooth. She's got it.
Yeah.
Well, they don't give her enough mic time to know if she's great at that or not.
If she gets drafted to Raw, there's a built-in feud with her and Kiana. Just do what you did between them down in NXT on the big show and just kind of expand it a little bit. And they're familiar with each other. It'd be easy for them to work with.
There'd definitely be some history there they could build off of. I mean, she got to get called up. She's got to get called up. There were other wrestlers that were there that were eligible to be drafted but weren't drafted. And those include Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, Cedric the Alexander. I was going to say the Entertainer. Cedric Alexander was not called up. Ashante the Adonis was not called up. Ivar was not called up. Shayna Baszler, not called up necessarily, not drafted is what I meant to say. Right. Ivar was not drafted. Shayna Baszler was not drafted. Going back to what Dre said the other day, they just shit on this girl every chance they get, and I don't get why.
Yep.
The OC also not drafted, and my draft pick, Zoe Stark, left out in the dark.
Yep.
So that's the finals of day one of the draft. And again, I
Well-
thought overall it wasn't bad. In past years, they've had more drama, but we got 2 more days left, and there could be some swerves coming. I don't know if you can draft a drafted player or not, wrestler or not. So if somebody was just signed, can they take him on Monday?
They did that in the past,
Right.
and they got a lot of shit for it. I hated that. I'm like, why bounce them back and forth? That's fucking ridiculous.
Because
so I'm hoping
it was
that
entertaining.
No, it wasn't. It was.
Oh, I thought it was
stupid.
pretty interesting. There was that one year where at the very end they drafted Cena to go to the other brand. He was the reigning champion with that big spinner piece of shit belt. And then the very next day they drafted him back. Or I think that was a one night only draft. So it was the last pick of the night they drafted him back.
Right. But
there's strategy in that.
I get that, but it's like, to me, that's like a waste of a pick. It's like, I think so, because I think it's like how we did it. Once they were drafted, that was it. You're there. You're stuck.
But think about it this way. All right, so you're the GM of Raw, right? And you just lost John Cena. Fuck. But you did pick up a couple of these young up-and-coming talents you wanted to fill out your roster, and you still got a pick left at the end of the night. I'm going to get Cena back. So now you filled in your roster, and you got your Cena back. Now, for the guy who drafted Cena, he might have blown a pick, but that's the gamble you choose when you show your hand too early. Again, there's a drama build around that. There's a poker-esque thing going on with that, which I kind of liked in the past, but I get the feeling they're not playing that way this year. Right.
I mean, the fact that they, like you said, Cena was the champion at that time, so they've locked the champions. They're staying where they're at and things. So, but I don't know. I think we're going to have some for the ones that don't get drafted. I don't think it's going to hurt them, because it's like you've got these people that haven't got used very much, like a Shayna Baszler. Leave her where she's at.
But they've been using her, just not well.
Well,
I mean, she was in a tag team with Zoe that was doing a lot every week. You saw him on TV.
Right.
And now she's been doing a little bit more of the singles thing. Before that, she took out Ronda. I mean, they've used her. They just haven't given her credit for it.
Well, the point I was trying to make was, it's like, I think with the draft, we're going to see people who haven't been used or weren't used right finally get a little bit of love. And I think that, like we've told everybody's just have to wait till it's all said and done, the dust settles, and then everything will pop off after that, especially after Backlash next week. So
yeah, and that's when the rosters go into full effect anyway. Judd basically answered your question. I don't know for sure. I don't think so. That's the vibe I get, is that they're not going to be doing that or allowing that. Oh, so welcome everybody, by the way. Miracle X is in the house. Judd's in the house. DHW just joined us. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Talking about other aspects of the show that stand out to me, and that's funny because as soon as I saw the promo with AJ and Cody, it's in my head. And then I get onto Twitter, and I already see 2 people posting the exact same thing that's in my head, which makes me realize I'm not alone. Kind of like the X-Files. What do you think I'm going to talk about when it comes to Cody and AJ in the promo?
Cody not being able to carry the weight of it?
No. Cody not being able to do a promo where he's not compared to his dad or his dad's history with his opponent.
Yeah.
It's so fucking old already. God damn, let it die.
Yeah.
Can he just be Cody and have his own history and his own... I get the whole build up to the Roman, but it's done now. Move on, turn the page in the new book, the new story. But every freaking opponent is going to be like, your dad did all this for me, but you're an embarrassment to your dad, whatever. I mean, it's always going to be this dig, and his dad, he's going to have to tear up. Stop.
Right. And that's the thing. When he went out on his own, when he left WWE, went out onto the independents, that was to build his name. Not to live in his dad's shadow. His dad, one of the fucking greatest of all time. Loved the man. Saw him live quite a few fucking times. Always happy about it. But I agree. Cody needs to be able to say, look, my dad was this. I'm not my dad. You're fighting me. Get the fuck over it. End of story. He needs to be a little more of an asshole is what he needs to be in those situations. Be like, don't fucking bring up my dad. You're not fighting my dad. My dad's dead. You're fighting me.
Yeah, that would be good. I would have loved that promo right there. He could have turned that promo around and ended all future ones.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and maybe that's going to happen here, but it needs to happen, man. If I have one more time where somebody's going there, and what was Carmelo challenging last night?
Yeah.
He didn't mention his dad, did he?
Nope.
They just got in the ring and had a pretty decent match. And I'll tell you one thing, when Cody missed the cutter, I wasn't so sure he didn't fuck up his shoulder or not, man.
Oh, I know.
I'm like, for what reason would you do a move like that, land like that? I
mean, I understand it because they both have those moves where they come off the rope like that, so they both were going for it. But yeah, Carmelo landed decent. Cody, I think he was trying to make sure he wasn't going to collide with Carmelo, and he turned wrong. And when he landed on his shoulder and he just laid there for a second, I was just like, yeah, this title run's over. He's done dislocated or broke his fucking collarbone or some shit.
So Miracle, Carmelo's been in NXT for a minute. I know Dusty's been gone long. I don't know. I guess he may never have interacted with Dusty, I guess.
I don't. Like... he came later. Yeah.
Okay. I was going to say, Dusty doesn't seem like he's been gone that long, but yeah, probably a lot longer than I'm thinking it is. Feels like only yesterday.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move along to some other wrestling news that's not WWE. Interesting article in Forbes magazine. And you know, for all the stuff people ever said about Donald Trump and how he rewrites values of his properties and things like that, there should be a grand jury indictment then of Forbes magazine because they claim that AEW is worth $2 billion with a B. Was that real or are you reacting?
It's a little bit of both because there's a B in there, but it's not for billions. That's for bullshit.
Yeah. $2 billion is what they have decided. And he's not a publicly traded company, so we don't really know what the books look like. But we can see TV. We can see how many empty seats are in arenas on a regular basis, not just a pay-per-view basis, when they can afford to actually show you an entire arena.
Well, the last show they had 2,500 seats that were filled. That was it out of a 8,000 to 10,000 arena.
And that was for a TV night.
Yes. Yep.
So if you're not going to draw them for, a SmackDown or a Raw, then how are you making money? I mean, we're not talking about WWE Live where, there's no TVs or anything and the odds of a belt changing hands are almost nil. So yeah, they're valuing it at $2 billion. He is also in renegotiation time with TBS and TNT. So they are saying that is the reason for the big angles. Big angles showing video of CM Punk. That's not a big angle. It's a bad angle. There's a difference. They're trying to say because it popped a rating. And look what happened. We already went over on this channel. What happened the minute that segment aired? Needle dropped. What happened the week after? Needle dropped. What keeps happening? Needle drops. Tony, you didn't do anything. And then let's make a bad thing worse because that's what he does best. That is the talent that he has. He doesn't have many, but he has that one. Hopefully the audio will come through. Let's see.
I was wondering if...
Were you able to hear the audio?
No.
Shit. All right. Well,
but I've seen it enough that I know.
Yeah. All right. Well, for those that haven't seen it before, and again, thank you, StreamYard, for being such a pain in the ass to work with. What he basically said to the NFL draft guys live, right?
Yes.
Is that they are the Pepsi of wrestling. And the WWE is the Harvey Weinstein of wrestling. Now, I'm presuming everyone knows about the Harvey Weinstein angle, but let's go into it real quick if you don't. Harvey Weinstein was a massive producer in Hollywood movies, and he was the guy. I mean, if you were going to have a career, Harvey would give it to you. If you weren't going to have a career, or if you had one, he can make it go away. And Harvey abused that power horribly with a number of female actresses over many, many, many years back in the day where nobody said shit and everyone just understood you're going to suck Harvey's dick. That's just the way it is. And then the Me Too movement came on and Harvey ended up going away to jail.
Right.
And all his friends started fidgeting in their chairs. So for him to say we're Pepsi and they are the Harvey Weinstein of wrestling, once again, it's the CM Punk video all over again because he has got so much negative. And these two guys, these two anchors, as soon as there's like a 2-second delay, right? Soon as they hear the words out of him, they are like, okay, stop. Because they understand what a lawsuit looks like. They understand libel and slander and all those fun words that end up in front of a judge. And they're like, okay, Tony, we got to go. Because they realize what this dumb piece of shit motherfucker who's never done nothing except take money from his dad doesn't know. And that is, you're a joke. Tony Khan, you're a fucking joke. Your organization is a joke. I feel bad for the people that perform there, and I get it. They're going to take that money, and some of them will wrestle for you because they can't wrestle for anyone else, or they'd never be given opportunities to do shit that they do with you, and that's because they shouldn't be. So congratulations, you've proven to another audience what a complete inept piece of shit you are, and I just can't stand that son of a bitch, and I can't stand anything about him. I can't stand his program. I feel bad for the performers. I will never watch AEW.
I've seen another version of that where his dad is actually sitting there behind him, and when he says that, his dad's eyes get like that fucking big around, thinking, what the fuck are you saying, you know?
Yeah, you just cost me money because I know your bitch ass ain't going to pay this lawsuit.
Right, and the fact, I guess, that goes to say that he shouldn't have said he was a Pepsi guy because we all know he's really a Coke guy, so, that's probably where all this is fucking coming from.
I have a question. Should Tony get involved to sell the company to TK? Sell what company? AEW? A, he's not going to sell his action figure collection. And B,
I don't think TKO would buy it.
Nobody wants it. It's a shit product. There's no value in it. None. What are you going to do? Collect a library of videos? You're going to have all the dark episodes? It's a piece of shit. I know it's worth $2 billion according to Forbes. I just don't think you'll ever find the buyer for $2 billion anywhere.
No.
Now, if someone offered him $2 billion, he'd be a fucking idiot not to sell.
Yeah.
Did I see your comment? Which one? Yeah, it's the one we just went to, right? Okay.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah, no, that's not going to happen. You guys got to remember, when you put these comments up there, if we're in the middle of stuff, I haven't had a chance to look at them. So I do try to get to all of them before we call it a day. But
and now we got
a bit of time.
And then I also saw where the other Nick Khan is looking to sell his shares in TKO also, or in WWE TKO.
The WWE's Nick Khan is trying to sell his shares. All of them?
Yeah.
Or some?
All of them.
That's odd.
Yes, it is. I've been trying to find out some more information about it, but I haven't been able to come up with it yet. But yeah, he's still listing himself. He's still as the acting president of WWE, but he is selling off his shares. So,
which makes me think he might not be much longer.
Could
I
be.
mean, you're not going to be the sitting president and sell all your shares. You sell some, that's normal. But you sell all of them when you're Vince McMahon. And that makes me wonder, because he was named in the lawsuit as someone aware of the situation.
Right. And like I said, I've been trying to find more information about it to see if that's where it's coming from. But it just was this real quick thing that I saw on Twix where it said Nick Khan of WWE is still acting president, but is looking to sell off all his shares. And I'm like, that's not going to be good.
Well, Vince is trying to sell all his shares, so.
Well, we know why with him. They told him to get the fuck out.
Yeah, Hunter, I'm not following your logic here at all. Why sell the company, close it, and then get wrestlers who want to join WWE and ones who don't? I don't get that. But no, he's not going to sell. He's not going to sell.
And again, I don't think there's anybody out there who would buy it. TKO ain't going to buy it. They've got all their money wrapped up in UFC and WWE, two of the biggest sports companies out there right now, and they're doing, both of them doing fucking fantastic. So they ain't going to want to bring on that shit show.
No, of course not. And why would you? I mean, everything he's done, especially recently, has been an absolute ballet of bullshit.
Yeah.
I mean, he is with bullshit what Picasso was with paint.
Because here's the thing. All they got to do is wait a couple more years. And when Tony's dad finally gets tired of giving him fucking money, they'll shut the doors, and then WWE, Impact, even NWA will get people that they want, and they won't have to go through all that horse shit.
Won't have to. It doesn't mean they won't.
Well, I mean, of buying the company, shutting it down. Yes, we know Vince did that with WCW. We know Vince did that with, a couple others and stuff like that. But that's just because he was a fucking egomaniac.
Well, he also owned them all. What is Tony going to shut down? He only owns the one.
Well, I'm saying if somebody bought it just to shut it down. WWE isn't in that mind frame anymore to buy competition just to shut them down.
They don't have to.
No, they don't.
Every time, like that interview, he's sitting over there while the company we're in competition with. You're not. You're not in competition with them. For there to be competition, it's like the New York Islanders. Last I saw, they were down 3-0 and heading into overtime. They're not in competition. They're done. You've lost 3 of the first 3 games in a best-of-7 series. You're done. You're not in competition anymore. You're in competition not to get swept. Tony Khan is the New York Islanders right now. You're done. You're just trying to breathe. You're gasping for air. That's what all these little things you're doing is. You're gasping out of desperation for some air. And you're seeing your numbers dwindle, and you're going into renegotiations of, boy, I'd love to be a fly on the wall when those happen.
When he said that, of all the people you could have compared him to, I mean, if you want to take a jab, take a jab. That's fine. Everybody does it. But it's like, why that jab right there when you know the implications, and you can just, like you said, those guys just smelled the fucking lawsuit coming. I'll be really surprised if WWE don't do anything to them, but or TKO. TKO might do it before WWE does. So
I can see that. I don't imagine they're going to sue him over it, but I can imagine a lawyer sending a letter to him that he has to make a public apology.
Oh, that would be nice.
Yeah, do that. Hey, that'll be another chance for you to get some ratings on a Wednesday night. I have a major announcement regarding the WWE. I'm sorry.
Make them have to do it during SmackDown on Fox at the same time and put it on the
simulcast it.
Yeah. Triple H is standing there going, yes, excellent.
The only thing that would be better is if Vince got to walk out on Dynamite, drop his drawers, and make Tony kiss his ass. Join the Kiss My Ass Club, which, by the way, Tony would do gloriously because of the rating it would get.
Yeah.
And once again, that would be your last rating. That would be your last rating.
Here's some chapstick. I don't like rough lips on my ass.
Yeah, you tend to grow that a little bit shaky there. That's a kind of a sandpaper thing you got going on there. And I like my cheeks rosy and red. All right. Last thing on the docket for today, because like I said, we've been doing a lot of these lately. So in case anyone's living under a rock in our community, which you'd have to be, then this will not be a news flash because it happened a little less than 24 hours ago, but it happened. and that is that the 2K community has finally been heard by the folks at WWE 2K, and that What's the Status is being reinstated. A lot of his content is being reinstated. I need you to hold that thought for a moment. Jay, take over.
I haven't seen it. I guess I've been under a rock. So I did look at something earlier right before I got on. I did notice that they said he was reinstated and things. I mean, it's a good thing. It does show that when we do put our voices out there about something, it can get noticed. But I guess the thing's going to be, what are they going to allow him to do from here on out? Yes, are they going to they're going to put some of his creations back up. But are they in a working deal with him now? Does he have a contract with them saying, okay, you can do this stuff, just don't yank from my faction before shit gets released? So I guess all those things right there are going to be what we'll need to find out and get to know, because yes, they're going to reinstate him. Yes, they're going to put his stuff back, most of his stuff back on, but what are they going to allow him to do from here on out? You know, so maybe they realize finally that, you know, yes, he is breaking terms of service and stuff like that, but he is making their game 10 times better than what they are doing. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see to find out. And of course, you know, would like to see something from Status, not just a post or something. I'd like to have him come on like this show or another show and just say, you know, let us know, okay, this is what they said they're going to allow me to do from here on out. So I guess it's going to be one of those wait and see and decide where it goes from there. Now, this does also open up a lot of things for other modders in the community, like Marty, you know, since they're letting Status come back. Hopefully they'll bring Marty back if they haven't already, because Marty wasn't breaking terms of service by doing what he did with the arenas. And for them to ban him like they did Status, I don't think that was fair at all. What is your thought on the W? Actually, Hunter, we actually went through the draft at the beginning of the show, so you can either go back and watch it, or basically both of us said it wasn't the best draft, it wasn't the worst draft, but I believe that come Monday, with them having 6 rounds instead of 4, we're going to see a little more of a shakeup than we did on SmackDown. It had some good points. To Raw, I think he'll do very well over there. Hated the fact that they wasted a fucking draft slot on Nia Jax to put her on freaking SmackDown. Glad Carmelo Hayes is officially on SmackDown now. DHW, you said Vince and Jay, I think they should make another WWE game for a little while. What would you do with it, though? I mean, they've got like 3 or 4 different app games that nobody plays right now. And then you've also got, you know, you got 2K, but I don't see them doing what would you put in another game? Really, there's nothing that you could do to have it different than what we got on 2K. So I don't see a point in that.
Then you'd have to find somebody that puts out a game. Look, 2K's got plenty of problems, but it's still the best game for wrestling that is out there. There's nothing better.
Right.
I mean, if it's not 2K, it's AEW Fight Forever. Are we really going to even try to There's no comparison. So as broken and messed up as 2K is, now part of what's going on, I was shocked that you didn't know this, but okay. What's the Status has been reinstated. I haven't heard about Marty M, but I'm sure that'll also happen.
Right.
And he's going to do another interview with Fatal Steven shortly to go over the conversation he had with them. But in a nutshell, what we know so far is that they met with him, had a decent dialogue, maybe an hour or so, it sounds like. And through the course of that, they explained to him the parts of his content that were affecting the game, that when people would download it. So here's what makes sense. Some of this stuff is what's causing games to crash. And then people are saying, 2K, you make a shitty game. Well, in some cases, it's not that 2K has a game crashing. It's that people are modding stuff, putting it out, we're downloading it, and it makes the game crash.
Kind of like the two hair thing he does.
Well, that one sounds like it's safe.
Okay.
So now it's a matter of what other ones is it. I'm not sure if it's modding the actual in-game models, putting tattoos on The Rock, for example, adding different hairstyle to Rhea Ripley. But so far as I think a true hairstyle on a created wrestler, I think that's okay. And again, they're going like right now. I haven't had a chance yet today to even fire up the PS5. I'll do that after this. But you can now allegedly find some of his content back up.
Okay.
Now, here's the better part of this story. Twofold. A, and this is going back in time a little bit for some of you who haven't been wrestling fans long enough, but people power.
Well, that's what I said. Yeah.
Truly what it's all about. Now, I openly said on this channel just days ago that I was not a fan of Status and how he handled this in the after rim. At first, he was handling it great. I knew I was breaking terms of service. I know this is a possible repercussion. I didn't even mind him saying, but then other people should be held accountable as well. I'm okay with that. When you start calling out Smack Talks and Assembled, and they're streaming this stuff and all that, they should be banned too. Now you're almost pushing the point because you didn't know you were going to be reinstated. It didn't look like you were going to be reinstated. So now you're trying to pull everybody down with you, and that's a chump move. Maybe you didn't mean it that way. Maybe you're just sitting out there trying to say, hey, look, apples and apples, not apples and oranges. But when you're naming names, to me, that's a dick move.
Yeah.
Period. Not because I stream the shit, not because I use his content in some of my streams. I don't give a rat's ass. But just the point that you're naming names and trying to bring people down, I get the moment, all that work, all that content, 2 million downloads, all that kind of stuff. And it's all poof, it's gone. It doesn't seem fair. But when you're starting to grab a hold of whatever you can grab a hold of and pulling it down with you, that ain't cool. That's not a good look.
Well, see, and that's the other thing. Like you said, he mentioned Smack Talks. He also mentioned Assemble and stuff. And it's like, those are two big guys that promote his shit whenever he puts stuff out. And you want to try to get them, are they really going to cover your shit from here on out? I wouldn't. If you called me out like that, I'd be like, fuck off.
So, and there's a point to be had about that. Now, of course, to cover it from here on out, now we know everyone's on the same page. And now they, when he gets up there will be with the blessing of 2K. So there's that. But the other thing that I thought was amazing is the fact that as much, and hey, no bigger than this one right here. For as much as we call out 2K for bullshit and for not listening to us, which they generally don't, look at Universe Mode. They heard us. They could have buried their head in the sands like they do on most everything else.
Yeah.
But they listened to the community. They actually took time. And I don't know if anyone got unsuspended ever. I've never seen anyone with a lifetime ban that had it undone. I'm sure it might exist somewhere. I'm just saying I don't know of any. So the fact that everyone came together, got them to listen, got them to actually sit down, have a conversation, and come to a mutual agreement that benefits everybody.
Right.
Damn, if we could do that in Washington, we wouldn't be in such a shit show right now.
And that's the thing too, is like when us creators are like complaining about Universe Mode and stuff like that, if we could get everybody rallying around and bring it to their attention like the community did with Status, then maybe we'd get some shit fixed. Maybe. But you guys have to, put the fucking work in. You did it to get him back because you like his creations. If you want a better fucking universe mode, let's do the fucking same thing with that and get them to pay attention and get it fixed.
And in the meantime, if we can do nothing else, everybody start tagging it, hashtagging it, getting it out there. Vince McSham for president. Fix this shit once and for all. All right. Jay's got to go. I got to go. But we did what we had to do here, addressing all the important stuff of the day. I'm sure we'll be back after Monday night to see what's going on with that.
I'm sure, yeah.
So, for another exciting edition of WrestlChat, say goodnight, Jay.
Good night, Jay.
Good night, everybody. We'll see you again next time for more WrestlChat. See ya. Actually watched a little bit of AEW, not a lot. Just enough to remind me why I don't watch it. Oh, this is already funny. Just the headline. The list of moves and actions that are now banned from AEW or need to be approved by the company.
Maybe that's why Nash is pissed off, because he went for Brock and Austin and not try to duplicate him.
Well, it'd be easier to duplicate him. You only have to learn 5 moves.
Like you said, and we've all been saying, Tony Khan, you need a hierarchy, and he gets one, and then we make fun of it.
Because he's sitting back there talking about the Brock match, and it's finally we had a wrestling match. Finally, we got 2 guys telling a story. They weren't outside in the ring the whole time. One of them
Was he not watching the same match as we were?
Yeah, those games, man, I would say, like, for me, like, the best ones, I would say, are, like, the ones where they try to get a certain, like, time.
This is my entire IT team right here on screen, everybody.